Hello everyone, this video will cover Module 3. In Module 3, you will be writing the critical thinking essay that you started planning in Module 2. So the first step is to go back and look at your outline and look at the feedback that I left you. If you did the outline correctly, you should have full points on the assignment, but you may have lost some points depending on whether or not you met the criteria. But I will leave you feedback based on whether or not your plan is a good one, or whether you may want to think about altering it in order to write this essay. So I will take you through the module. We're just working on this whole week is just devoted to actually writing the essay. Now, when you have a whole week to write an essay, I recommend toward the beginning of the week getting a rough draft done. We are not turning in a rough draft assignment for this essay though, so it's important that you do this step on your own. Do a rough draft, go over it, print it out if you can, and read through it. Read it out loud if you can, because that will help you to hear some of the problems that you have in your own writing. Go through it with a correction pen, something like that. Don't just glance at it on the screen or write it one time and never read it and then turn it in, because that's not going to help you at all. You need to be doing self-editing throughout this process. So I recommend planning on at least 1 to 2 rough drafts before you have a final draft. The first rough draft, you want to make sure that you have all the content in there. The second rough draft is where you would go through and start editing your writing to make sure that you're not having any specific issues, correcting little things, capitalization, punctuation problems, things like that. So I'm going to just show you what's in this module. I know there's a lot of stuff in this module, but the only assignment is the actual turning in the critical thinking essay. This is our first essay for the class though, so you want to make sure that you are giving yourself time to really get into the writing. The other thing that I put in here is a little grammar mini lesson. I've had students ask me before about grammar lessons, and so I decided this semester I'm going to add them in like every other module or so. And these are just common problems that students have in their writing. So if you have never had any issues with fragments or run-ons, or never had any feedback about them from your other instructors, then there's a good chance that you don't really have a problem with this, and so this grammar mini lesson may not really apply to you. However, if you have seen this kind of feedback before, I highly recommend, I will put for each mini lesson, I will put the pages out of Rules for Writers that will help you, and then a video, because some people are visual learners, and so it's a good refresher just to go over, but there won't be any assignment or quiz or anything attached to them. They're just for your information. The idea with this is if I present to you the mini lesson on grammar, then after that point, we should see less of that in your writing, first of all. And so that way, since I know you know about it, the comments and then of course the points that will be reduced will be increased. So there are a couple of other things for you here. This is the essay criteria again for you, the same one that was in the previous module. I also have a couple of pages here to help you. This is a video that I created that just walks you through the steps of writing the critical response essay, and so you may want to start here if you're struggling. I have a video like this for most of the essays that you write in this class. The other thing I have is an example of a works cited entry. And so if you want to, you can copy and paste this straight into your essay. You have to have a works cited page for this essay. It will only have the one source listed on it. You are not doing research for this essay. You are not looking anywhere else. This is the essay, if you remember, you're taking one article out of the practical argument textbook, and you are doing a critical analysis of it. So you are analyzing or breaking down the author's argument strategy in your essay. So that's the only thing you're doing. You're not doing any outside research, you're not doing any comparison to other articles. You're solely looking at this one article. And so you can copy and paste this then, because you're just going to have, you'll change your author's name and the title of the work, and then the page numbers will be different. So that's what you'll change, but otherwise yours will look exactly the same. I also have some information on MLA format. This PDF was created by the Purdue OWL, and so if you are unfamiliar with how to format using MLA, or it's been a little while, this will help you out. It is a requirement for all the essays in this class. And then finally, we have the spot where you actually submit your critical thinking essay. The grading rubric is attached. You'll notice that all of your essays will have the grading rubric at the bottom of the where you turn in the submission spot. I have a link to the criteria so you double check, and then usually I have a list of formatting things. Don't forget to do this kind of stuff. So that's sort of last minute, making sure that you fit the major criteria, especially the things where students lose the most points. And then down here, the grading rubric, you can see we have 4 categories: excellence, proficiency, competence, and novice. If you want an A, just in general in this class on your essays, you want to be scoring in the excellent to proficient category for everything. So you can read the description of each one to make sure that you are in that area. B's and C's tend to be in the middle. D's and F's will be, novice on the side. Writing ability is about the only area where I very rarely have anyone score in excellence, because writing can always be improved. Otherwise, these other categories are ones where it's not hard to score in the excellence range if you're really following the criteria and really understand the assignment. You can always email me and ask if you're having trouble with something or you're not sure what one of these things means. But I can help you walk you through that. The other thing that you can do with your essay before you turn it in, you can always use the online writing lab. The online writing lab at Allen is free for students to use. It's a good tutoring service. However, they need 48 business hours to respond. So you would have to send it in on a Wednesday if you want it back by Friday, or even Tuesday would be better. So you'd have to have your essay done earlier in the week. The other thing that you can do is get a peer review from someone who you know. You can look or send it to a friend or a family member. You're more than welcome to do that. Or you can also send it to me. I do look at essays through email, especially for students who are not sure if they're meeting the criteria or are maybe a little confused on the assignment. It is not cheating to ask my opinion before you turn something in for a grade. So that is our first essay assignment that you'll be submitting for this class, and that is Module 3. So if you have any questions, make sure that you're communicating with me by email. Otherwise, I hope